and welcome to my YouTube channel. Look at this, we've got sun. So tonight what I'm going to do is take advantage of the sun. I'm going to drive around, and what I'm going to do is look for the colour yellow. As you can see, all the fields in this area, well, most of the fields in this area have got a lot of rapeseed in them, and they're really vibrant in this sunny light. So join me and let's see where this journey takes us. Alright, so I've pulled into the side of the road here and I've got this beautiful rapeseed field, but the challenge is going to be composition. So I've had to put filters on because it's so bright tonight, so the camera needs its sunglasses. But the key thing is, if I turn the camera around, you can have a look. So depends what we want. Do we want a blend of the green and the yellow? So if we do, could we use that path as a leading line round the bend, and then that will give us a contrast using the tops of the trees, the green and then the yellow. And then do we walk into the field but make sure we don't destruct anything and just follow the tyre tracks where the tractors have been? Because what we're looking for in a field like this full of yellow is to use the lines. So the lines up here that the tractors have been, as they've been sowing the seeds, it'd be nice to catch those lines so that we've got those verticals in the image. And then when you look at the rapeseed closer up, is there a composition where we can take shots of the rapeseed but where a big depth of field or a deep depth of field we can actually blow out the background and focus on the rapeseed itself? So the challenge with that is it's quite windy, which means I'm going to have a high shutter speed to freeze the leaves if we try that. So tell you what, let's give it a bash, and I'll talk you through some of the images that I'm about to take. Alright, so as I mentioned just there, as part of the intro, what I would do is I would use the trees as a kind of frame to hang down, and then I'll use the path here, or the tracks that have been left by the tractor, as a kind of leading line to give me the contrast between the green and the yellow. But because I've put the filters on, I'm trying to get a balance of where I've got a bit of the sky and I've got the shadows in the foreground. So I'm really reliant on my histogram here. So effectively, if you're interested, I've got a 0.9 ND filter on, I've got a polarizer on, I've got a 20th of a second f8 ISO 100. I'm going to take that shot. I'm conscious it's quite windy, so I'm hoping this will work. Right, so the other shot I'm going to try is a vertical panorama, and I'm going to go 2 shots because what I want to try and do is get a higher overlap of the canopy of those trees, and that could be quite a nice shot. And I'll zoom in tighter. I'll make sure I've got the tracks, because I need the track for my leading line. And because I've zoomed in tighter, I'm changing my focal point, and my focal point is going to be the edge of the rapeseed on the side here, and then that way I know I've got my grass in focus from front to back. I'll focus in on the horizon point just in case I need that for detail later on. So from a kind of creative point of view, what I could do is take a shot where I've got a composition here where I'm going to cut out the sky and I'm going to cut out the trees, and all I'm going to have is the green with a layer of yellow just above it. I don't quite know how that's going to work yet, but we'll give it a try and we'll see how that works. So what I'll do is I'll take a couple more shots here and then I'll share those images with you. Alright, so I'm just moving in, I'm just following the tyre tracks, that way I'm not disturbing any of the rapeseed, and I'm just going to go in a little bit deeper to see if I can find an area where I can get a composition, because the composition I want to go for this time is a wide view but have the whole field in front of me. And as I mentioned earlier, you've got all those tyre lines. I'm not quite in parallel with them, but we'll give it a try. I'll set the camera up and I'll explain to you what I'm doing. Alright, so while I'm here, I'm going to be doing quite a few compositions, and just to explain what I'm doing. So as I'm standing here in the tyre tracks, and I'm being conscious that I can't go too far into the field because I don't want to damage the crop, but I've got gaps in front of me here. So if I stand there and take a photograph up, especially with a wide view, I'm going to get the two runs up the side of this bunch of rapeseed here. So I'll try that, and it's just to show you the difference between taking that wider shot where I've got this space in front of me versus what I'm doing just now. So what I'm doing just now is I've focused in as maximum as my lens will go, which is a 70mm, and that means I look as though I'm sitting above the rape, but I've picked up the tractor trails in the background and the rowy trees in the horizon. So what I've done here from a compositional point of view is I've put the rowy trees in the top third of the image, and then the bottom 2/3 are all field, because I'm hoping that from the beginning, or the front of the image, as it takes you forward, I'm hoping the front of the image is going to be a wee bit out of focus. Then as we get through, it will get sharper and sharper, up to the point of where we get the trees. We've got some just plain blue sky, and that could be quite a nice image, and you see them a lot on computer screensavers. It's not very often we get this weather to try this out, so this is absolutely fantastic. So what I'll also do is I'll take some shots of the trees from where I am, so I can get the rapeseed in front of the trees and try that as a composition. I'll try and get a wee bit lower down and take some close-up shots of the rapeseed itself, try and focus in a couple, and then have that depth of field behind it so everything's blown out and I can isolate those rapeseed flowers that I'm taking a photo of. So what I'll do is I'll take these images and I'll share these images with you now. Alright, so I'm just walking a wee bit further down into the field, but I'm still conscious that I'm following the tractor tracks, and if hopefully this little camera picked that up, but there was a hare just ran in front of me there. Right, so I'm just trying to get to a position where the rapeseed crop's no taller than me, because what I want to try and do is get a wide shot of this image. So I've got all the rapeseed in front of me here, I've got that tree line in the horizon and the solid blue sky, so I'm going to try and get a shot here, and I'll catch back with you in a wee minute. Alright, so I'll just finish up here and head off. So the other thing that I've noticed tonight when I'm taking the images is, because the trees are on a hill and I've got my camera level, it's actually making the horizon look squint. So when you see some of these images and you've got the photographs in front of you, you might think, oh, that's not straight. Well, actually it was just the angle of the hills and where the trees were going down, but we'll try it and we'll see, and we'll see if that works. Right, I'm going to head to the van and then we'll see if we can find another field. Alright, so I've pulled in to another field. I've actually been driving for over an hour trying to find a field. Honestly, you have no idea. God knows where I was. Anyway, I'm going to turn round and then you can see the composition that I'm looking for. So I've got this cluster of trees in the field, half the field's in sun and half the field's in shade. So what I'm going to try and do is take some images here, I'll do some close-ups, and then what I'll do is I'll move, there's a kind of open area here. If I move closer, I'll see if I can get a different image there. And then this other side of the field, there's some sun shining on the rapeseed there, and I'll see if I can get some images. So what I'll do is, I've just parked at the edge of the field, so rather than spend a lot of time explaining what I'm doing, I'll take these images and I'll show you those images now. Well, I've pulled in to the side of the road. So, if truth be told, this is my second night. Because last night when I got to that last field where I had the tree and the cluster of trees in the horizon, I got back to my van and my front wheel was black, and I realised that I think there was something wrong with the brakes and the calipers. So I took it to the garage today and I had to get a new caliper fitted to the van. So I'm back out to finish the video tonight, and I've been driving along the roads. You have no idea how hard it is. It's great to see yellow fields, you see them everywhere, but to get access to them is even harder. So I found this field. I'll turn the camera around, you'll get to see where I am. So I've stopped here because there might be a lot of interest in kind of compositions with the trees and the bright yellow. The sun's up on the far right, so I'm trying to avoid going into the sun. And I've got these old gate posts that might help with some compositions as well. So there's a number of things I want to try in this location. So what I'll do is I'll get set up and let's see what compositions we can get in this field. Alright, so I've got a wee composition here. So what I've got is, I've got some sprigs of the rapeseed crop sticking up, which are taller than some of the others. Then I've got a cluster of trees in the background, but it's quite windy again. So what I'm trying to do is focus in on the foreground just in front of me so that I've got the background out of focus. But I'm framing the trees, so I've got two sprigs of the crop, and then I've then got the trees in front of me. And because I'm below the crop line, I'm getting quite a nice depth image here, where I've got just a third of the sky, 2/3 of the field, and then I've got those sprigs sticking out that actually looks really nice. And this is where it's really important about the separation, because if I was to take a shot of the crop heads here and they were then in front of that tree, it wouldn't work. So that's why I need them at the sides. I've got the tree in the middle, and that, well, I'm hoping that looks nice. What it might do though is, when we're talking about various compositions, even last night, what I can do is I can change the format of the image to a square format. So even although the way I'm shooting in landscape, if I crop it to square, that might give us a different perspective and a different view in the image. Right, what I'll do is I'll keep looking for different compositions. I'm trying to shoot away, not into the sun, because I'm just going to get lens flares. But I'll see if there's a composition towards the trees, and I'll catch back with you in a little minute. Right, so I've got a couple of compositions here. I'm going to do a wide shot of the trees and having the yellow in front of me. Then what I'll do is I'm going to zoom in. And when I zoom in, I'll pick out a few heads, and then we'll see how that goes. There's a couple of vertical lines going this way, so if I can get high at this position, I'll take that shot, and I might do it as a vertical image. And then as I was walking over, I spotted a potential wee opportunity with my van just sitting there at the side. So I might just take a shot of the van with the rapeseed in front of it. Maybe just get that offending wheel that stopped me in my tracks last night. And you never know, it might make a wee bit of fun. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 or 3 of these images here and I'll share them with you now. Alright, so I'm going to come across here because I actually do think there's quite a nice image here. I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting too far, but the composition I've got here is I have this fence post. I've got the fence post and I've got the bright yellow in the background, and there's the sun going away behind a cloud. So there you are, just as I was trying to get this image. So there's some quite interesting images here using the wall as foreground interest as well. And there's some other plant or weeds. So what I'll do is, rather than waste footage, I'll wait on the sun coming back. And when the sun comes back, I'll take a series of these shots and then I'll share those images with you now. Alright, so this could be our last stop. So what I'll do is, I'm just walking down, there's a little river here, but there's a field right beside it and there's easy access. So I'll walk down, we'll have a wee look, see if we can get any compositions, and I'll catch back with you soon. Well, I've just come to the water's edge, and as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful here. Wow. Right, so I'm going to go that direction up towards the field. However, as I'm standing here, I've just seen a composition, so that might be quite nice. So there's a wee path that's leading up. You can see the tops of the rapeseed field, but you've got these bushes giving me a wee archway. So I'll tell you what, I'll take this image and I'll share that image with you. Alright, so hopefully you like those images and hopefully they turned out. I'm just going to have a wee scout about, because there's a wee track here and it's got like an S, so that would be quite nice. So we've got a shade and we've got a brightness, so let's give that a wee try and let's see how that image turns out. Right, so I've picked up quite a few compositions here. So there's a tree at the side of the road, and what I'm trying to do is get the line of the crop to the edge so it looks as though it's like a carpet towards the tree. There's a house over in the distance, so I'm looking above the crop and it's quite a flat plane towards the white house. So what I'll try and do is put the house on the far right hand side of the composition. Using the rule of thirds, I'm on the right hand side at the top, and then there's a farm tower in the distance. I don't know if this lens will pick that up, but what I'll try and do is have a wee look at what I can do with a composition to try and have that. It's going to be really small in the distance, but what I want is I just want all the yellow, and then what I'll then try and do is do some close-ups of some of the heads, the flower heads. Yeah, it's there's a lot, but I'm picking out what's going to make quite a nice composition and what will be quite a nice image. So I'll take a few shots and I'll share those images with you now. Alright, so what I've started to do is I've flipped the camera over to vertical, and I'm trying to get some shots of the plants sticking out. So, and the reason I've moved my camera down quite low is because what I'm trying to do is get separation between the crop and the field, so that the head of the flower or the head of the crop is actually in the sky. And we're using the vertical composition, that might also allow me to make square crops. So what I'll try and do is I'll do a couple of triptychs and have 3 images together in the one image. And what I'll do is I'll share those, I'll do a couple of triptychs and I'll share those triptychs with you just to see if you like them. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll keep taking images here of close-ups of the plant heads or the crop heads, and if any more of those turn out, I'll share that with you. So I'm going to end the video here. Hopefully we can make a video out of this. It's been really difficult trying to find. You see lots of yellow fields when you're driving along a motorway or a dual carriageway, but the real challenge is getting close to them and being able to park next to them, and that's what I've found. So where you think they are, there's normally not a road towards them, and they're within a field and a field and a field. So I've been lucky to just keep driving around to get safe places to stop and then stand at the edge of the field, because I don't want to go in and ruin the farmer's crop. So yeah, here's what we make a video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because you know it's free. And if you press the bell notification, that'll let you know the next time I post a video. So thanks very much for watching, and here's to the next video.